Good morning and afternoon. My name is Adam, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to this webcast hosted by Kalypso and Oracle on the topic of bringing PLM to the digital enterprise, featuring PLM trends for 2017.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Sorry that we started a little bit late. Today, what John Kelly from Oracle and I are going to talk about is some of the new trends in PLM, and a particular focus on the importance of digital in driving change in the way companies innovate. John, if you'd like to take it.
Yeah, so hi, everyone. This is John Kelly. You know, we've been very, very consistent in our messaging about what PLM is for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's innovate, develop, commercialize, and that is still the core. But what you're going to hear at MSCE this year, the Modern Supply Chain Experience in February, is that this thing is moving up the curve. So there's a lot of things happening around digital transformation in the enterprise. And we're going to be spending a lot of time at MSCE talking about the digital innovation platforms you need to create to enable digital transformation. So you're going to hear a lot about that. We're going to give you a bit of a preview here today, so you can kind of know what's going to happen at MSCE. So let's take a dive deeper. So digital transformation is happening in almost every industry. I mean, you look at media and you start thinking of streaming services and how that's going to impact cable companies. You know, you look at retail and there's a lot going on there. This is a survey done 2 years ago about CEOs and whether or not they were worried about digital transformation in their business and major disruption in their business. You can see 50% or more of almost every CEO in every industry is thinking digital transformation's here. This was 2 years ago. And I look at industrial, and they're probably just wondering, you know, is that light? Is that the end of the tunnel or something else? And it's really something else. It's a train coming. So I bet that's no longer 39 either. So digital transformation is happening. It's happening all over the place. So I think that the key here is your PLM deployment, and we're going to, again, talk about this a lot at MSCE, has to evolve to support this. For digital transformation to work, you need an innovation platform, and PLM has to be that platform. So how do you take your PLM deployment to the next level is the real key. And again, you know, these are the things we're going to have to talk about. I mean, think about what's going on with digital transformation. You know, you look at Lyft and Uber, completely redefining the taxi experience. You look at the new connected home devices. You look at driverless cars. You look at, you know, Amazon grocery store. You just walk in, you get your stuff, you walk out, and it keeps track of it, right? I mean, this is the kind of transformation we're seeing all over the place in many industries. And so how do you manage that? And when you look at sort of like the manufacturing space, it's happening as well. So, you know, shop floor maintenance, predictive failures, tracking assets, you know, monitoring inventory levels, having devices tell you what's going on in real time so you can actually track and manage that. These transformations are happening everywhere. So, and again, you need a platform to manage that. So, you know, the first thing is, why now? Well, you know, some of this technology like RFID has been around for a long time, but sensors and GPS and IoT devices and 3D printing, it's just all ready now. It's all coming together at the same time with big data analytics and web services and cloud-based platforms to really make this front and center. So the real thing here is how do organizations transform to take these smart connected products that are developed in PLM and then connect them to the rest of the enterprise? So how does PLM become more than the product record? Product record's great, you still need to do that. But how do you connect PLM to all of your applications, you know, in real time, so it's part of a flow? So as if a product fails, it sends a notification to the quality application. Quality application may schedule a work order with asset management. Asset management notices that this failure is happening frequently, so it sends an event to PLM to update the product. So this stuff all has to get connected. And you're going to learn a lot about that again at MSCE. So, you know, smart connected products is the enabler of this, but it's not the end game, right? So you have to do something with all the information coming from these smart connected products, and that's where PLM is going to play a big role. And again, we'll be talking a lot about that. So, you know, I think the key here is these transformations that are happening in your company, and they're happening, require a strategy and a digital platform to do that. And that's really what PLM is, right? So how do you create that platform to enable what the journey that your company is on? And what you want to also do is you want to make sure PLM is at the heart and soul of this journey, because that journey is happening in your company, and PLM should be the platform to do that. So we'll give you some tools at MSC to help you get there. So I think, you know, one of the final messages here is, you know, managing the product record's fine. That's been, you know, managing the enterprise product record has been the theme for many years, and it's still core, but it's not enough anymore. You need to move to the next level. You need to move your PLM deployment up the maturity curve to stay relevant, and we're going to talk a lot about that. George, I'll let you take over.
Thank you, John. So, as John mentioned, these are some of the themes we're going to be exploring through a number of different papers and presentations at the Modern Supply Chain Experience. So we'll give you kind of an overview or a framework of what these discussions will be like, and something to think about as we get closer to that event. So as John mentioned, PLM is essential. It's a platform that enables much of what our clients are using to achieve digital innovation. To some extent, as John said, we're moving beyond the product record. What I also say is that, you know, the product record, managing changes effectively, ensuring compliance and traceability, these are things that PLM has delivered for years and has driven tremendous efficiency and productivity in engineering and in supply chain regimes. But what I think is exciting about PLM married with the new digital technologies is that we now have the ability to impact the top line more and to deliver truly, to enable true innovation, not just productivity and efficiency, but to deliver products that are inherently more innovative that wouldn't have been possible 5 years ago. So we see here a maturity curve that you can see about how early PLM adopters were driven by that productivity and efficiency. What we're talking about now is moving through those stages to that fourth state where we have integrated and aligned value chains, and we're driving true digital innovation by taking advantage of a PLM platform coupled with new technologies that are available. If we can go to the next one. Here's a conceptual framework that I like to use to explain things. So you see at the center, the core, and the traditional things that get deployed when we implement PLM. Add on top of that digital capabilities. The three that I like to focus on the most are innovation analytics. So if you put an analytical engine on top of PLM and other enterprise sources of data, you can begin to mine that data and achieve insights that you couldn't before. You can also use not just data mining, but data mining combined with machine learning to understand things and to play scenarios that you've never been able to look at before. Digital product creation is the ability to take your CAD models, your product information, and then to make the product, as I like to say, in silico before you make them in the analog world. There are a lot of companies that are reducing their testing and their prototyping and the costs associated by tremendous amounts because they're developing these models digitally, they're testing them digitally, and then they're verifying that model in the analog world, and that's reducing, in some cases in footwear and other industries, it's reducing physical testing by up to 80%. So digital product creation, the idea that you invent, first of all, wholly in the digital world before you start constructing or formulating, is a pretty exciting premise. And then as John mentioned, there's a lot of hype around the Internet of Things, but the Internet of Things is absolutely here because in probably most of the people on this webinar in your homes, you've got example of smart connected products. And with that, you know, regulating the data, having the right security, managing the connectivity of the various things that make the total experience work is important and inevitably runs through PLM. So that's how you take the core, you add on those digital capabilities, and you achieve digital innovation. And this slide basically just says what I've said on the previous one, so we'll go ahead and move forward. But the idea is that we have a completely integrated solution end to end, from idea to concept to product commercialization, and increasingly further downstream into supply chain. So you'll see companies that are using the information just as they're constructing models on these new products, they're developing new supply chain models of supply and demand. Another thing that that PLM, having that product record at the core, allows is the mass customization that you can deliver based on consumer input. Another thing that you're hearing a lot, and probably as much hyped as Internet of Things, is people talking about cloud. You know, what is cloud? How does it connect up to social and mobile? There will be a number of these topics presented at Modern Supply Chain. First of all, cloud is essentially one of the really important things that cloud allows us to do is distributed computing. So if you think about digital product creation and some of the things that you want to be able to do, 10, 15 years ago when I was working with a major CPG company building models around hair care performance, you know, we were using Department of Defense computers because the computing power that was required was so great. But now, through distributed computing, this is bringing the ability to develop complex models and to examine the data that you already have in PLM, CAD, and other systems. It's bringing you the possibility to build these models and help improve your innovation results. We can also, through an analytical engine, process a lot of different inputs. So as I mentioned before about machine learning, you can take, as you're developing these digital products, you can take the attributes of those digital products, you can either test them on social media, or you can look for inputs from social media to get insights into what are going to be the attributes of a certain product that will drive adoption. And you can do limited releases in test markets to prove that. Another key component of the future, obviously, is mobile. Many of you are probably attending today's webinar not via laptop, but by some type of mobile computing device. And the mobile devices have the ability to both send lots of information in that companies can use to develop a personalized experience, which I have to emphasize once again derives from PLM and that core product record. But, you know, mobile and social combined with increasing cloud capabilities allows companies to take an individual product, or to take a platform product, but then customize it through its features and particularly software features and deliver a completely individual experience. As I'm sure all of us are aware, because all of our mobile phones and computing devices are set up to our own personal preferences. But we can extend that into non-traditional places and products that are fairly mundane are going to have lots of very interesting attributes and personalization capabilities. There are even, for example, food and beverage companies that are working on delivering personalized taste experiences. So, you know, Oracle and others are, you know, offering PLM platforms that inherently recognize the power of digital. So what you're going to hear at Modern Supply Chain is a lot of client examples of how PLM platforms are using these digital capabilities, Oracle's PLM products and Oracle digital capabilities to do some of the things that we've talked about, you know, conceptually today. You're going to see real-life examples of it. If you stop by the Kalypso booth, we'll be showing you some examples from our clients of how PLM platforms support the development of a digital innovation reality. So, you know, with that, I guess I'll turn it back over to John. Kalypso is proud to sponsor Modern Supply Chain Experience February 13th to 15th in San Jose. We're a platinum sponsor. There are great speakers such as Facebook and Teleflex, but many more.
All right, so again, the event is in February, Modern Supply Chain Experience in San Jose. We've got some great speakers there. You know, right now we can publicly announce Facebook that's going to talk a lot about their PLM operations, including, you know, a lot of the new products they're coming out with. You know, they got some planes that are, you know, glider planes that are going to deliver internet access, you know, to remote regions in third world countries. So some very, very interesting things there. Teleflex, and there's a whole bunch more. There's 4 keynotes, and then there are 4 tracks within the PLM pillar. So we have well over 30 PLM sessions. There's also a cross-supply chain session that has a fair amount of PLM content in the cross-supply chain piece as well, so look there too. Don't just look at the PLM track, go look at the cross-supply chain track. There's some promotions still in place here, so for the rest of the month, you can get some discounts with that Holiday 17 code. And again, hope to see you all there. You know, I think this is our premier event to talk about what we're doing both with on-premise Agile PLM and cloud PLM and how that plays together in the digital world. So, you know, you're going to hear a lot of information about Agile and our commitment to Agile and the innovation on the Agile platform, and a lot about cloud and our commitment and innovation on the cloud platform. So, again, hope to see you all there in 6 to 8 weeks. All right. Thank you. I see one question about the role of big data and with PLM supporting companies. I think, you know, the biggest issue with big data is how that drives different parts of the PLM footprint. So quality is a big area where a lot of these devices are sending back real-time information into a big data repository where we can measure and monitor and impact trends. So, and it's not just PLM. I think that's one of the important things. It's how PLM, supply chain, maintenance, and manufacturing all tie together. It's a digital thread across all of those application spaces or business processes. So I could have big data that triggers a work order in asset management. that work order could determine there's a quality issue, which creates a corrective action that ties into an engineering change order. So big data becomes a play here because there's a lot of information coming out of these smart connected devices. And big data allows you to analyze that, find trends, and then connect through that digital thread that runs through the entire application footprint and all your business processes, and trigger the right things. You know, part of this digital thread is web service enabling the entire platform. So when I see an issue in big data, I can connect that and connect those processes. So, you know, whether it's a manufacturing process, a quality process, a change order, it may trigger an idea, it may trigger a requirement in the next generation of the new product over in the innovation management side. So it's that digital thread that connects all this that big data plays a role in. And obviously Oracle has some, you know, leading edge digital data, digital analytics, big data analytics packages available to help you manage that flow. Okay, I see we're a little past. I think we can probably wrap up. And again, hopefully we see you guys in a few weeks in San Jose.